Hello, 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 and welcome back to A Little Birdie Told You. I'm your host, Kristen Knight.
And I'm your host, Kelly Knight.
Today's episode is going to be about gossiping. And I'm sure you've all heard of gossiping, or you've participated in gossiping yourself. And I feel like we all should be accountable for our actions when it comes to gossiping. But let's cover what is gossiping. Just because I said I know what gossiping is doesn't mean you're familiar with the term.
Yeah.
So let's dive a little deeper into the definition of gossiping and kind of uncover what gossiping entails. So what's gossiping in your book of definitions, Kelly? What would you classify gossiping as?
I would say just in general, I mean, maybe some people would say, oh, gossiping's not talking bad about people, but why do you feel the need to talk about that person? That's what I would like to ask.
Gossiping, I feel, is critically analyzing or judging people. And to put it in more simple terms, talking bad about somebody. If you're in a room and you are with your friends and you say, oh, I hear this person talks about this person, or he talks to 5 different girls, or she just broke up with him, or she does this and it's so annoying. You hear people talk about this. That's gossiping. If you've talked bad about people, you have gossiped. You've participated in gossiping. So like Kelly said, let's ask you, why do you think you gossip? Before we even take any step further into why people gossip and why you should stop gossiping, why do you gossip? Why do you feel the need to gossip? Ask yourself that right now. I mean, we've all probably found ourselves gossiping. And I think one of the primary reasons why people gossip is because other people gossip.
Yeah.
We gossip as a form of entertainment. Have you ever felt the need when you're in a room with friends or you're talking to people and they start talking about other people, you feel the need to add to the conversation? You're like, oh, I'm going to gossip with them. Or like if they say something about somebody, you're like, oh, I'm going to gossip with them. No, but like some people do. You know what I mean? A lot of us feel that if someone else gossips, we have to gossip. It's like social gossiping.
I think it's just a part of fitting into, like, if you're in a friend group and all of a sudden somebody starts talking bad about somebody, you feel, obviously not me, I don't gossip, right? But like other people feel the need to sit there and be like, oh, I have to add something in or else they're not going to like want to be friends with me because they're going to think, oh, I don't gossip, or I don't like talking about people in that way. You know what I'm saying?
And then they revert the attention to you and kind of question like, oh, so what do you think about this? And they look at you like they're all talking. And then they look at you like, what do you think? What do you have to add into this? Do you know anything that we don't? Let me tell you something. If people are gossiping around you, that does not mean you are required to gossip with them. First of all, don't be around people that gossip.
No.
We've said this, I think, in so many episodes. If they gossip in front of you, they will gossip behind you.
Yeah, when you leave that room, they're going to be gossiping and talking bad about you.
One of the principles of gossiping is what they're saying, they would never say to the person in front of their face. That's why they're talking about them.
I mean, some people are that mean where they will gossip right in front of you, but in that case, they're still going to gossip about you. Like, nothing's stopping them.
Yeah, and most of the time they're just going to talk about it behind your back.
Yeah.
So they're not going to talk about you when you're there with them because why would they do that? Then there's going to be no fun. They're not going to know something that you don't. So there's no fun in that. So they're going to withhold all that and say, okay, when Kelly walks away, we're going to talk about Kelly's life now. We're going to talk about her dating life and her life choices and make our opinions and our judgment on them because we're definitely a credible source when it comes to that.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to do with that anymore. We're done with that. We're not going to be friends with those people. Why? Because they're going to do it to you. So let me ask you, if you're in a room with people and they gossip, if you're at school and people gossip, you don't need to fit in with them. There is a lot more to talk about than gossiping, okay?
Yeah.
We have plenty more topics to bring to the conversation. And if primarily all your relationships are centered around other people's lives, ask yourself right now, why am I in this friendship? Why am I in this relationship? Because why is most of that relationship and friendship based on someone else's life?
Yeah.
Why are we conversing about that? Don't you think there's so much better stuff to talk about than that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people just talk bad about people because, like, in general, when you're gossiping, I feel like when you look at people that gossip, you're like, well, obviously they don't love themselves and value themselves in the friendships that they have around them enough to be like, I don't need to gossip, but they do feel they need to gossip. So obviously they don't love themselves.
The reason why people gossip is because they notice flaws in themselves and they're reflecting that onto other people.
Yeah, and they're comparing themselves.
They're comparing themselves to other people, their values, their choices, and they're insecure about them, so they have to talk about them. As we say, if you're in a relationship, maybe somebody's insecure about their love life, so they're going to talk to other people about your love life and your choices in that love life because they feel insecure about their love life. If they talk about maybe the choices you're making in your life in general, whether that's work, academic, whatever your choices you're making to further yourself, and they constantly are talking about that to other people, well, they obviously must be insecure about that in other people. If they talk about your physique and the way you look physically to other people, maybe they're insecure about their physique. So if you're somebody that does that, pull back from that, stop talking about other people, and fixate the energy on yourself. Because when you gossip, you're putting energy into other people.
Oh, yeah.
If you're gossiping about me and Kelly, you're putting energy into us. Thank you for fueling my energy, by the way. Thank you for talking about me. You know what I mean? But it's the truth. If we're going to talk about other people, what are we talking about? The main topic, other people. Yep. We're talking about all the different people that we've decided to talk about that are in our lives. When we talk about them, we're giving them energy.
Yeah.
We're constantly critiquing things about them, but that's giving them our energy. Well, you're not fixing the problem, are you? You're not fixing a problem. You're putting the problem and you're actually making it worse because you're going to find new things to talk about that person. And then you're going to talk about other people. And not one person's going to turn...
It keeps adding on to the books.
One person's going to turn into two people's going to turn into three is going to turn into four, and you're just going to be talking about everybody.
Yep.
When you could say, hey, you know what? Something's wrong because I'm talking about other people more than I'm talking about myself. So I'm going to now revert all that energy that's focused on other people and focus on me and maybe heal the parts of me that I'm finding in other people that I aspire to have. If you're somebody and you're constantly talking about relationships, well, maybe you are insecure about your relationship status. Maybe you feel, hey, I've never been in a relationship before. Nobody ever loves me or takes me seriously. Well, hey, focus on your
Take some time to love yourself. Like by the time you start loving yourself, you realize you don't need someone else.
Exactly. And maybe if you took a little extra time instead of focusing on those people and focused on yourself,
you would find better people to hang around. Like I like to say, the people you hang around are the people you become. So if you're sitting there hanging out with people and you're like, oh gosh, this is not somebody I want to turn out like, or where I want my future to be, you know what I'm saying? Those are the people you're going to become. The people you surround yourself with are the people you become. Like it's true though, because all the things that like maybe talking bad about people, you start thinking that's normal because it's a daily routine. And the more you do that, the more you're going to feel like, oh yeah, like it's honestly just going to drain yourself.
It becomes a source of entertainment.
Yeah.
You find nothing else to talk about because that's what you're so used to talking about. That way, when you talk to people who don't gossip, you don't know what to talk about with them anymore. Yeah,
you're kind of like, oh, like, are you guys normal? Like, why are you guys not talking bad about people?
And then they might be the type of people where you bring up so-and-so, and then they're like, oh yeah, we don't talk about that. And then they move on to another topic, and they're talking about their life. You know, somebody talking about their life to you, that's not gossiping.
Yeah, that's
They're talking about their life. But if they're talking about so-and-so's life who's not here, that's gossiping. We're not going to do that. We're wasting energy. We're talking about people who honestly are probably not talking about us. They probably don't care. They're probably busy in their own life and don't have time to talk about you. And second of all, you're making other people perceive you. And let me tell you this, it doesn't matter how other people perceive you. Other people's perception of you isn't important in your life, okay? They don't have the right to judge you, and that's why you shouldn't gossip, is you have no right to judge people's life choices.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're making other people and your friends not trust you.
No.
Because they're going to look at you as a source of someone who spreads information to other people.
Yeah.
They're not going to look at you as a trusting friend. They might not even look at you as a real friend. You're not going to be a real friend. Because if you're talking about everybody, you're not a real friend.
No.
Because if you're saying to somebody else, I'm your friend, I'm here for you, and what they told you, they can find it in you, you just told to other people, that's not a real friend. No. That's not somebody we're going to look at as a real friend. Anybody who ever talks bad about people in front of me, one of the first things I gather from them, they're not trustful. Don't tell them anything.
Nope.
Don't tell them anything. I don't. Because I know what I tell them, they're going to tell to other people. It's sometimes funny. And I joke about this. Sometimes like I'll just start rumors about myself. Like I'll tell people things to see if I can trust them, you know? And somebody like me, it's kind of hard for me to trust other people because I just naturally don't. And I'll sometimes say, oh, it's funny. I'll just make up a little rumor and then see what they turn it into. You know what I mean? And maybe spread a little rumor. And it's funny because when you're secure in yourself and you understand who you are, other people talking about you really doesn't faze you like they think it will. And sometimes they talk about you so it does get back to you, so it does faze you, so it does interfere with your life. So what they say makes you contemplate, oh, am I making the right decision? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? But let me tell you, this is your life. It doesn't matter what they think.
Nobody else is going to be living your life except you.
No, it doesn't matter. So what they say and what they do, just disregard it. Let them
just
gossip.
ignore it. Who cares?
They're only gossiping about you because there's something to talk about. Some people are so miserable in their own life.
They have to talk about you.
Yeah, they have to talk about you because there's nothing going on in their life. And if you're somebody who gossips, make stuff go on in your life. Make something good happen for yourself so you can talk about that over talking about what's going good in other people's life and trying to tear it down. We don't need to tear other people down. There's no point in that. There's no point in tearing other people down when we can take that energy to build ourselves up. Build yourself up. You have time in your life to go back and change things that you're doing right now. You can't go back and change them, but you can change the outcome, meaning you can change who you are in this present moment. You have time to do that. At least I believe you do. So take the time right now and focus on yourself. Stop talking about other people. Stop that negative habit. And if you find yourself doing that, say, okay, wait, stop. Trick your brain into saying, yo, no, this is not good. We're not going to do this.
It's not good.
We're not going to talk about other people. We're going to bring up something else about my life. If you're somebody who's naturally prone to gossiping, say, you know what, let me find something in my life. I got a new dog. Oh, I got my nails done. Oh, I did this. And talk about yourself or talk about what's going on in your life. I constantly find myself around people who talk about other people.
Yeah.
Not that I put in my life, but you'll just be naturally doing your own thing. And maybe you're in public and you hear people talking bad about somebody. Like, there's so many things to talk about.
And it's honestly like, imagine that being like the first time you ever like meet somebody and they start doing that. Put it this way, that is like your first perception, whatever the stupid
perception,
word is, whatever, right?
Yeah.
On them. And you're like, oh my God, like they honestly, like they have nothing going on in their life that they have to talk bad about people. Like, and you'll see people just all of a sudden, like the first time that they see each other in a day and they just start talking bad about people. Like that tells you much about them.
That indicates there's something on the surface that they're insecure about.
Yeah.
Just like if you are getting into a relationship and they constantly talk about their ex, they're talking about their ex because maybe they have unresolved feelings, or maybe they're insecure about, okay, did they meet somebody new? What's going on in their life? Or they're constantly stalking their ex. That's the same thing. We're not going to do that.
Nope.
You have a new relationship right in front of you that has the potential to grow. Why are we going to talk about the past? Why are we going to talk about that? That's gossiping. Now, if you're with people who gossip, eliminate them.
Yeah, just start new.
Even
if you don't have anybody to hang out with.
Not eliminate them like that, but eliminate them from your life.
But like in general, if you have a lot of friends or like most of your friends or all of your friends are people that gossip and that's who you became, as somebody that started gossiping, and you have to let those people go and you are alone, who cares?
And maybe if you don't want to get rid of them as friends, which I really recommend that you don't give them all of your energy.
No.
Maybe you don't have to just eliminate them from your life and cut them off, but limit the time and exposure you
like
are
I would
with
just
those
kind of
people.
back off and just have a space, like a good space between them.
Surround yourself with the people you want to become. And those are people that don't gossip. We want people that put energy into themselves and are secure and stable because they're going to reflect that onto you. They're going to reflect their behaviors onto you. And that's good. We want to do that. We want to be around people.
Yeah.
If you're around people who gossip, and we all find ourselves sometimes in a stage where we're around people who are gossiping about other people. I'm somebody personally, and I'll give this as an example. If you're around people and they kind of look at you like, oh, what do you want to say? Stand up for that person. Or disregard what they're saying. Like maybe say, guys, you guys really shouldn't be talking about that person. We don't know what's going on in their life. Or do you think there's something better to talk about than other people? Let me ask you, be honest. Stop allowing yourself to sit back and absorb what these people are saying and find it acceptable. It is unacceptable to talk about other people.
Yeah.
It really is. And you can't control other people, but it's not right. How would you feel if you're sitting here and people are talking bad about you? Because like Kelly said, and she was actually mentioning this earlier to me before any of this, that we decided to talk about this, is what goes around comes around.
Yeah, it's true though, because the energy that you put out there, you're going to be receiving. If you were sitting there gossiping and you were talking really bad about people or the people that you have around your life, it is going to come back. there is going to be somebody behind another closed door talking really bad about you. And I bet you're not going to like that and you're not going to enjoy the things that they say about you. So maybe you should think twice about gossiping.
And they're going to say, so-and-so gossips. Did you know that? Don't tell them anything.
No,
now they're all talking about you and the pointer's fingered at you and you're going to have no friends now because everybody's going to turn their back on you and say, you're the one who gossips about other people. You go around and say bad things about me. I don't want to be your friend anymore. So ask yourself, change yourself right now. Fixate all the energy on yourself. If you're somebody that notices gossiping, say something. Don't just sit there and find it acceptable. It's not acceptable to talk about other people. You don't have the right to do that. So maybe say, let's talk about something else or change the subject yourself if you're too alarmed to say anything. But overall, you should stop gossiping.
Yep.